the information superhighway, an online network called Internet.
You know how I have a window next to my bed?
Sure. I don't think I've ever spent time in your bedroom. But
you go in there right now.
I mean, I can see a curtain.
Go hang out.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
Bedroom.
It's kind of a hassle to get into this chair.
That's fair. So occasionally I will wake up and Wanda will be on the windowsill, like frantically looking at something outside.
Okay, all
and
right.
It freaks me out. And one time, well, I think it was yesterday or this morning, I just woke up and I was like, Wanda, stop. And I closed the curtain rapidly, but before I did, I saw a shadow of a human out there, and I was like, oh no. There's a human being there.
Oh man!
And it freaked me out because I don't like that.
Yeah, there's a very often people who are out in the parking lot at my apartment at like way early in the morning, like 2 or 3 or something.
Oh, this was
that.
like 3 p.m.
Oh, okay.
But still.
Oh, so that makes sense that someone might be out there.
Yeah, so there's no problem with it. I still didn't like it though.
Okay.
Just not a fan.
But like, yeah, I always. The first couple times I thought they were trying to like steal a car or something like that. Then I realized as it kept happening, it was just their car.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair car.
But it was still
their car.
uneasy.
I think when I just went to the bathroom just now, I just pooped out all my energy.
Yeah?
I mean, I didn't poop at all, but
oh, okay.
like instead of the poop that would have come out, it was just my energy.
So
now it's all gone.
So is this going to be a really bad episode is what you're saying?
I'm not saying it'll be bad. I'm just going to be kind of low energy for this one, which I think is fair. Fine.
Well, that leads into a great first question.
Hey, no.
All right.
Stop that.
I'm
First
sorry.
of all, we haven't even introed.
I know.
Second of all,
right.
I have a point.
You have a thing you want to say.
I would like to bring up.
All right. Let's intro and then you can speak your piece.
Yeah. Wanda, what are you doing?
She is staring intently at you.
Directly at me.
You know what's weird about your cat? Maybe it's not weird. Maybe my cat's weird. But like the way that she sits, her head is almost like hunched into her shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like, I don't know, Sparta is very just like always looking around with his neck extended.
I could make her do that.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I think all of her energy is gone too.
Yeah, maybe.
I think there's like a gas leak in this apartment.
Never mind. Go ahead.
No, were you going to say a stupid joke?
Not a stupid joke, but just the fact that there was a very real gas leak that happened here a couple days ago. Not here, but in Dallas.
There? Oh, I didn't know.
A person died. Anyway.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. This was it's like 3 weeks old by this point.
Yeah.
Anyway, broke that fourth wall. Hey everybody, welcome to the online podcast. My name is no, I already used that one.
Oh, we're running out.
My name is what was his name? Pear Cupfridge?
Pear Cupfridge.
That's
wow, what a legend.
That's me.
The legend of Pear Cupfridge.
Nah, I'm Dylan, and this is Catchphrase.
I'm Scott. I didn't say it right.
Not your best. Probably your worst.
I can't wait for those I'm Scott t-shirts to hit shelves.
We should make merch.
Yeah? I was talking to a ton of people who had cool merch ideas. You know, I now that I'm wearing jackets a little bit more, I want custom lapel pins.
NerdSync lapel pins?
NerdSync lapel pins.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. I think that's easier to do than like a custom bow tie. I was talking to a guy who makes custom bow ties, and I was like, what can I do to get a...
Didn't someone make you a NerdSync bow tie?
They did, but I wanted to sell them.
Yeah,
so,
right.
yeah.
Mass produce. Just sell that one for like an exorbitant price.
Well, it's got the old logo on it, so it's vintage. It's antique, you know?
Vintage,
but I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, probably logos aren't the best way to go. Why don't we just have one with the NerdSync colors with a cool design on it? And I was like, cool. Yeah, hell yeah, let's do that. Probably won't happen because they're very expensive.
Well, that's fine. Just for the upper, you think?
I will. Somebody sent me a really. So after I came back from.
What was that noise?
I rubbed my hand against as I was pulling. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything, but then you paused as if you also heard it and thought
it
was weird. So
I paused because I was trying to not say menfluential.
Oh. That's fine.
As I got back from formerly StyleCon.
See, just put that right there. Just call it that.
Yeah.
The con formerly known as StyleCon.
I've been just looking for a bunch of awesome, cool ideas to expand the NerdSync business in more real life ways. And one thing I want to do is have an actual like physical meetup in some capacity. I want to do like a TEDx kind of conference, but where we have speakers who talk about comic books in an educational way. Have it be really small at first. Like if we can get 30 or 50 people, that would be awesome.
It's a lot of people.
Do what?
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people, but it's like a day where people could just, or like a night where like we can just rent out a small conference room or whatever.
So you said TEDx. Would it just be one person talking about a thing?
I would like to have at least
panels?
3 or 4 speakers. Yeah, maybe some panels as well.
I'd be down for a panel.
Yeah, panels would be cool.
I don't know what I would if.
That's the thing, because like I know we have a lot of comic book YouTubers here in Texas, but like even Eris. He would get a crowd for sure, but like I don't know what he would talk about specifically at this Eris, thing that I want to do.
If you got Eris, he would bring that 30 to 50.
He would by himself for sure.
I've been to a couple of his meetups. There's plenty of people.
Right, but I just want to make it more educational and you know. But either way, somebody was tweeting at me earlier today about they just said, "Hey, can I make NerdSync kits?" And I was like, "The heck? What are you talking about?"
What?
And they proceeded to send me like 24 follow-up tweets that I thought were absolutely brilliant, and I don't know what they want to do with this idea, but I want to take it and run with it and maybe work with them in some capacity. But they were saying like hands-on NerdSync like learning kits, like sending people things. They were referencing all sorts of old videos about
like a starter magic kit, but for comic book learning.
Yes,
cool.
With things like that would very directly reference our videos that even range back to our old days, like sending someone a floppy disk, right?
Yeah,
and talking about. That just is labeled like Optimus Prime or something like that. So there'd be a lot of props or a lot of like physical things. Cool. And then along with it would be like an info card of a lot of kind of the summary of one of our videos. Or
kind of like the Vsauce has the curiosity box.
Yeah.
Sort of like
very similar to that. And but they would like directly reference a lot of our videos and have a lot of information about
that'd be
some
awesome.
of the stuff. I know, right? Isn't that the coolest idea?
Yeah.
So I hit them up, told them to email me. I really want to invest in that idea and send physical because like merchandise is one thing, but I feel like I don't even care about my own merchandise. I don't have everything that I've put out there.
See the way that I approach merch, and this is because it's mostly shirts, is I will just, if it's a shirt that I like well enough, I'll buy it to support the person, not because I love shirts and I'm gonna wear this shirt all the time, but because I will support the person.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm currently wearing my Bobby Burns influencer hoodie, which I love both as an actual piece of clothing because it just looks and feels great. But also I was supporting him. But this is kind of a rare thing where it's something that I would actually wear, even if I just saw it in a store. I'd be like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
Because I'm not even, because mostly it is t-shirts, and I'm not much of a t-shirt guy.
Neither am I.
But like, if that's why whenever I try to do NerdSync merch, I try to make sure there's a variety of things. Like if you want a phone case, if you want a notebook, if you want a poster, if you want a coffee mug or whatever, because I know that not everyone's just gonna want a t-shirt.
Something that video games awesome, which is they're not really small. They're small relative to other gaming YouTube stuff, but they mostly stream. Their merch stuff is set up in just my favorite way, where it's through Spreadshirt. So, and they have like specific options that if you're just lazy, you can just be like, yeah, I just want that. And that looks fine. But they also have it open to where they just put all of their designs up to put on whatever you want. Yeah. Through Spreadshirt. Yeah. So you could just be like, oh, if you want a mug with this design on it, go for it.
That's what the NerdSync stuff is like.
Yeah, we're not going to specifically tailor it towards you, but like you're not going to buy like, oh, get the Maverick hoodie and
yeah. That's what a lot of the NerdSync stuff is like currently. Not that I have a lot of it, but like we just upload a design, you can put it on literally anything, you can change the colors around and everything like that.
Exactly.
So, and we got to update that. Sure.
I want to meet the guy who just gets like the worst color combinations possible. Like gets like a black logo on a black t-shirt.
I was thinking the exact same but white logo on a white t-shirt.
Yeah, like what the like are you a troll to no one?
Yeah.
No one's being affected by this but you.
Oh man. That's
That'd
like
be fun.
the Tom Haverford like black ink on black paper business card.
Different color black, shiny black versus
Right.
matte.
You got to hold
black.
it into a light.
Exactly.
What was the thing you were gonna say? You had a thing
my
that you wanted
point?
to say. No, you came in here wanting to talk about it.
Yeah, that was my point.
Oh, what was it?
I'll have a point.
Oh,
No, I haven't said it yet.
but what is it?
So it was an idea I had a little while ago. I think it was when Ricky, you and I were hanging out,
Yeah.
and it was, or no, yeah, it was because I was when I was writing one of my what if scripts. What's your opinion on the retcon of Superman being Superboy as a child?
The retcon that's what did happen, or that's what didn't happen?
That's what did happen.
That's what did happen? Not a fan?
I hate it.
Yeah.
That's where this came from, and I don't understand. Like, it's so stupid to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like the Smallville approach where he is doing stuff and he's around doing stuff, but he doesn't have a costume.
He's not publicly known as a Superboy.
he doesn't have like a rogues gallery. Because whenever someone told me, they were like, yeah, Superman was originally Superboy, that seems so weird to me. Because why hasn't, for example, if that's the case, why hasn't Supergirl become Superwoman?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Exactly. That's I was about to say, like, when was that transition point that he became Superboy to Superman? Was it when they first saw the super bulge in a photo and they were just like, well, he's Superman.
Oh, he's Superman.
Yeah.
I assume it's like I imagine like Superboy was, then I'm sure there's a canon reason for it, but
Yeah.
my ignorant ass is just saying that when in Smallville, because it's a Smallville, he was just kind of a local legend that was known as Superboy. But when he went to Metropolis, no one knew who Superboy was. So they saw this guy in his Superboy costume, but he's a man now, and they were like, "Oh, that's Superman."
Yeah.
So they just started calling him Superman. There was no transition. He just happened to be
The transition was
called
just him moving.
Yeah, it was just him moving to Metropolis.
Fair enough. Although, I mean, I don't know if it depends on what's canon, because there are Superboy comics where he is on national television as Superboy.
Is he?
Like meeting the president of the United States.
That's so stupid. Why? That's dumb. I don't like that.
Yeah. And so in that case, people would around the world, they would just know him already as Superboy. Yeah.
So, and I guess you could make the argument that if it was like a self-changing thing where he's like, "Don't call me Superboy.
I'm gonna rebrand."
I'm Superman."
Yeah.
Then I guess that's also fine. I don't like that retcon. I don't like the idea of Clark Kent being active as a superhero before because that was like his coming of age thing where he became a man and decided that, okay, I'm gonna be a superhero now. I'm gonna be Superman.
Yeah. Which is not to say I don't like the concept of Superboy. I do. I really love. My heart has so much love for like goofy Silver Age stories.
Yeah.
And I love old Superboy comics.
Like Superboy having a closet full of robot copies of himself to send out.
Absolutely. I do love that. I mean, even Superboy with like Legion, was it Legion?
Superheroes?
Legion of Superheroes. Wasn't he Superboy there?
Supergirl is there.
Right, but wasn't Superboy there
I don't remember.
originally?
I don't think so.
You sure?
I don't know. I've always known Supergirl to be the super character that joins the Legion.
Okay. I'm pretty sure Superboy was.
You could be right.
Okay.
Supergirl definitely was, and that is a staple of her character. But I don't know if Superboy also was.
I'm sure he was. I'm pretty sure he was in the comics, but at the very least, he absolutely was in cartoons.
Oh, okay.
Because they had a Legion of Superheroes cartoons where he was the lead character as Superboy.
They could have adapted that.
But I'm pretty sure
I'm not,
he was.
I genuinely don't know. I've just never heard that before.
Okay.
I've always heard it as, well, I know that Supergirl is a part of the Legion in a lot of interpretations of it. Because Superman sends her to the Legion.
Fair enough.
For some reason.
I don't know.
At some point.
I could be conflating the comics and the cartoon, but we'll never. There's no way to check.
Sorry.
But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I like Superboy. I do like that idea, and but I like them as a standalone thing. That it's not a continuous story of a person who grew into Superman.
Yeah, I like I like Superboy being the like cloned son of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent. I like Superboy being Superman's son, and I like those ideas. I just don't like Clark Kent ever being Superboy. At
Oh
any point.
no, that's what I was saying. I do like.
you do like
I do like as a standalone, separate, like almost universe of just like the Silver Age tales of him being Superboy.
Right, but then he turned into Superman.
Right, but
That's what I don't like.
Right, I agree with you, but I'm saying the concept of just Superboy as a standalone thing.
Yeah.
I like. I like
I
Clark.
agree.
I like Clark Kent as Superboy.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
but
I
not
just, I
if
just
it's
mean,
a continuous story of him
I just
going
mean
to
Clark
Superman.
Kent Superman at some point
Right.
being Superboy. I
Right,
don't like
I don't
that.
like that either.
No,
No.
we can agree on that.
All right.
But is there like a third Superboy?
Probably.
Because there's Jonathan, and then there's what the hell's his name?
Connor.
Connor Kent. Connor. Yeah, I don't know. That was my point.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that to the table. I think we talked about that sufficiently enough. I wanted to try and put like a comic book thing in the thumbnail and the title to see if people would listen more.
Oh, I get it.
So I wanted to, and I probably could skew that for anything else, but
Yeah.
that was an idea that was something that normally I would have been like, oh, that's a good Orms Forum topic, but it's more of a question than an idea. So
Yeah.
I needed a second person to talk about
And
it with.
I'm sure all the comments will let us know if Superboy was ever in the Legion of Superheroes.
Probably.
Not that it makes much difference to this conversation.
No,
currently.
it makes zero difference.
Yeah.
Just eliminates a slight disagreement.
Yeah.
Did you want to do a Twitter?
Sure. This is one. You were talking about having low energy, so I felt like this was a pretty good. For anyone who doesn't know, you can hit us up on Twitter at @theonpod
That's the one.
for questions, advice, whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
We'll answer it using the hashtag AskTheo.
Do you feel like I'm not as engaged when I'm like lean back like this?
Yes.
Are you offended by that?
No.
Oh, okay, so you're cool with it?
I'm fine.
All right, good.
So this comes
Slowly
from
getting further away.
this comes from Adrian Castro at MogWiFlix.
Another one from Adrian Castro.
Do we have a first one?
There was one he did one on YouTube last
Did
episode.
he? Oh, in the last episode? Oh, I'll pick a different one then.
No, that's fine.
Are you
can
sure?
get two.
Okay.
You can't just say it and then me be like, fuck him.
Another one from
No.
this guy? All right. Well, I wanted to spread it out. We have a ton on Twitter. I didn't want to give people the...
Just, you already said it. Just do it.
All right. I'm super antisocial. How exactly does one execute a social?
You don't.
No? So what are your tips? Well, first of all, are you an antisocial person? Which I believe, not to be a stickler for correct vernacular, but I believe the term is unsociable. Antisocial is usually for like violently unsocial people.
I don't like the term antisocial.
I think antisocial is very specifically supposed to be used for people who actually like are against society
they don't
or
wanna
social.
be social.
Right. Whereas unsociable, I feel like is
Or introverted?
yeah,
That's what I would
introverted. But like introverted can be a factor, but I think it's
Right.
also I think it's also maybe if you're shy, because you can be a not
true.
shy introvert. So
I guess
yeah,
I know this is a very kind of not pigeonholy or narrow-minded view of introverts and extroverts, but I have always seen without fail in people that I know, there are either introverted extroverts, extroverted introverts, introverts, or extroverts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's there are 4 genders. That's all I've seen.
Well, what else would there be?
Right. But some people will be like, well, no, I'm like a shy introverted extrovert or stuff like that. But I feel like those are the 4 categories that most people fit into.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, that just sounds like I don't know. It sounds like I don't know, like I'm a person with 2 eyes. I'm a person with 1 or 0. It's like there's only a limit to how many. Yeah, of course, there's going to be a finite amount of categories to put you in at that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just preemptively defending myself against people who are going to be like, well, no, I'm not an introvert. I'm just a shy person who occasionally will indulge in social activity if they know me well enough.
Yeah.
And I would say, right, you're an extroverted introvert.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
So what's the so I mean, look, I don't use the same terminology. I do introvert and extrovert, but that as their own standalone thing.
Yeah.
But I I do typically add the modifier of shy or not shy because those usually tend to go together. So what is?
I think I just don't like the word shy.
Yeah.
But so what were we gonna say?
So I was gonna say. So what would qualify then as an introverted extrovert or an extroverted introvert?
So okay, so the example that I've and I'm gonna put someone we know on blast.
Okay.
Just because it's the example I've used in the past that has gotten someone to understand my viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, Drake, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna use you as an example and myself in this scenario. So Drake McWhorter, he will claim that he
Comic Drake, trailer Drake.
Yes, youtube.com/comic Drake. He will claim that he is an extroverted introvert. I think that is completely false
Yeah.
because of the fact that his social batteries recharge when he is being social, when he's
Yes.
being extroverted.
Yeah.
But he is not extroverted all the time. He does enjoy being by himself and working and editing and doing stuff like that. So
Sure.
I would classify him as an introverted extrovert. Also, just he's an extrovert that shows introverted qualities. Myself, on the other hand, would be mostly an introvert. I don't leave the apartment ever.
Yeah.
I don't. My social batteries recharge when I'm alone and just doing things by myself, and I get burnt out very quickly in social situations, especially if I'm uncomfortable. But I broadcast myself on the internet. I have YouTube shows. I am pretty okay at social conversations, so I would call myself an extroverted introvert.
I guess to me that complicates the terminology a
A little
bit.
bit much.
I would just say that there's, like everything, a spectrum, and you
Right.
kind of fit on there somewhere in between there.
I think that's why I use those two terms, extrovert, introvert, and introverted extrovert, because if I just called Drake an extrovert,
Yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't be enough
Yeah.
because he's more than that. And if I just called myself an introvert, because the one time I ever went to therapy,
Yeah.
which I should definitely be in therapy, but
You're telling it someone who screamed at the ceiling yesterday.
the one time I ever went, it was a bad match because it was, first of all, it was a guy, and I just don't relate to guys as much, especially for therapeutic stuff. But
Okay.
and he was just kind of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very perplexed by who I was because I told him I was an introvert, and the MBTI quiz that I did told
Mm-hmm.
him that I was an introvert. But then I told him about my YouTube channel, and he was like, "The fuck? What? Who are you as a human? You're an introvert, but you put yourself on the internet."
But like, I don't see that as an extroverted act because I'm not actually. I'm talking like when we're yes, we're broadcasting to people, but actually physically, I'm talking to a microphone.
yourself, right.
I'm staring at a camera. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not with
and
people.
I think that's why it's an extroverted quality, but it doesn't make you an extrovert
Yeah.
because it's something that you're doing for other people, and it's something that well, not exclusively for other people, but it's something more social than just sitting and muttering to yourself.
Sure, but I guess my thing is I only use those terms when I'm talking about energy levels, not not qualities of people. So like, do you gain
I
energy?
use them as like personality types.
Yeah. Okay. So
well.
that's kind of where we differ. I would say introvert or extrovert is a personality type, along with many things. If you're shy or outgoing, or if you do whatever. But I wouldn't just label someone, I guess, wholly by that sort of thing.
It's never a good idea to just label someone. Let someone give you their labels.
Right.
'Cause otherwise, you're just assuming a lot.
Right. So for me, to kind of go back to this question of if you're
too social.
how exactly does one execute a social?
Which, very good way to word that. I
Yes.
enjoy that.
So this is gonna be the most annoying advice.
You can just say, just do it.
No, I'm not gonna say just do it because that is
But-
that is super annoying. But I will give you one step more practical than that because because here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you are. If somebody says just do it, there's always a previous step that you're just that I feel like I'm like, okay, but how do I do it?
Yeah.
And so like literally just as a side tangent, I know there are people who are like, want to do things like getting into stand-up or improv or performing or whatever, and people will just do it. And it's like, no, I want to, but like, how do I do that?
How do I book
So like, that's why yeah, exactly. So
how do
that's,
I make a YouTube account?
Exactly.
Help me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I hate the advice of just do it, because
fair.
it's like, I get what you're trying to say, but like practically, how do I do? So like, that's kind of what I want to tackle this from, of how like practical steps that they can take to execute a social. First thing I'll say is be open to social opportunities.
Yeah.
If someone invites you to a thing, go to that thing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, like, if you're like me and you don't like to be the first one to engage, like if you're in a scenario where there's, you know, people across the room and it's not like a social environment. I mean, it is a social environment, but it's not like a party where people are expecting to be social. Like if you're just at a restaurant or something, or a cafeteria. I don't know how old this person is, but like.
Oh, right. Sorry, you said cafeteria, and I was like, what like a Luby's or something? I forgot cafeterias are a school thing.
Yeah. So like, it could be, or you're just out somewhere. Like, I have a problem starting a conversation with a stranger.
Oh yeah.
But if I'm if I'm in a social environment where like chatter and mingling is expected, like I just came back from previous StyleCon, and I had zero problems. I had next to zero problems in mingling because it was just expected. So you just go up to people and be like, "Hey, is this your first time here? This is my first time here. I don't know what to expect." Really, you can't do that?
Abort. No,
really,
not a fan.
So this is what I mean by like being open to things and trying it. Like
I'm open to it. No, I just can't.
I get that, but like, this is gonna sound. That stuff physically made me like sweat and shake and whatever. It takes practice. I'm still not great at it, but I can do stuff. I can kind of handle it now.
I can carry a conversation, but I have a very tough time initiating that conversation, especially when it's in person.
Really?
I'm great over text.
Sure.
I think. But when it's in person, I fucking panic. Quickly.
But do you know where I got practice with that? Because I was the same way. I got practice with Uber drivers and Lyft drivers.
No, I don't want to talk to any of them.
Really?
I'll talk to them if they talk to me, but there are occasional times where if I'm in like a very good, like if I'm on a high, then I will not. Don't take drugs, kids. I meant like a mental high. I guess that would also be.
Thanks to all the drugs I've been taking.
Yeah, thanks to all the weed. But no, if I'm like in a good mood and I get into like an Uber thing and I have something to talk about, I might do that. But
and to be fair, there are people who are just lousy at holding a conversation.
Oh yeah,
and I can be one of them.
That's the first thing you need to perfectly execute a social thing, is you have to realize that sometimes people just are bad at it or don't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
and you have to accept that.
Yeah, and heck, I know that sometimes I'm bad at conversations because I don't know how to. If we reach the end of a topic, I'm really bad at trying to transition to something.
Yeah.
But it does take a lot of practice, as I always do. I read a lot of books about it because it's something that I wanted to improve upon. And I feel like you do. It's one of those things where you do have to be proactive about it. You have to go out there and start by reading a book, but you can read as many books about swimming as you want. If you don't actually get into the water, you don't know how to swim. So if you can read about conversations and how to hold conversations and how to be social, but you have to do it. You have to actually, and again, I'm not saying just do it. Like, be open to opportunities where you can just ask someone how they're doing.
One of my biggest problems is I don't, and again, this is probably as a result of me not being as proactive as I could be, but I don't get invited to a lot of stuff.
Neither do I, honestly. I feel like you hang out with more people than I do still.
Not really.
I feel like you do. You get invited. Drake always tells me about like you guys hanging out, and I'm never invited to those things.
I hung out with Drake in like 2 months. Or like a month or something.
I don't know. He's always telling me about inviting you to things, so I don't know.
That's strange. I feel like he's inflating how much we hang out. Cause I saw Kevin for the first time in like a few weeks, on Friday, and we normally hang out at least like once a week. Mm-hmm. But even I'm talking about like not people that like being in social situations like that con or a party or something where you get practice with just conversations with strangers or people that you don't know as well. I don't get that chance a lot.
I get you.
And I think that adds on to me being so anxious about it, because it's like, if I don't have an anchor at a party, or if I don't have like a person that I'm comfortable talking to, or someone that I like that I know will carry the conversation, if I'm just not feeling it, then I panic and I get very stressed out.
Yeah, I another practical piece of advice is if you go to a social situation where mingling and whatever is expected, if you can go with friends, then that helps. But don't just stick to your friend group, obviously, because that's not going to help anything.
Try and find the best thing to do is try and find a friend who's really fucking good at talking to strangers,
or just like a friend who knows a lot of people and wants to introduce you to those people.
Exactly,
because then they can be the person who starts the conversation, and then you can just continue the conversation.
That's like Hamilton's. Hamilton's is the one place where I'm pretty good at start. Well, I used to be. Now I'm too busy manning cameras and stuff. But Hamilton's, I would always be able to just go up to someone and be like, "Hey, what are you singing? What's going on? How are you?" And now there's this whole group that I know either just through Hamilton's or through Drake or through the grapevine that I can go up to and have a really quick, easy conversation with. But also most of the time that ends in me panicking because no one's talking anymore, and I'm like, I'm gonna go check on the cameras even though there's nothing to check.
So other practical advice would be have an exit strategy.
Yeah, definitely have an out, but don't abuse that out, especially if you're in a small room. Don't
abuse it. It doesn't even have to be an exit strategy. It could just be like a way to transfer topics or something as well. Like for me in Atlanta recently, it was all about my exit strategies were about how little I didn't know what was going on. Like by making myself kind of look like a moron, it kind of lightened up everything.
I've done that a lot.
So like it was a conference with a schedule, and so when I was just kind of when the conversation lulled, I was like, so is there anything else going on here today or whatever? It's like, I don't know, this is my first time here. Have you been here before? Like, little things like that can just help transfer the conversation.
You'd be surprised, especially in like a group of 3. If you're just with another person, Godspeed. I don't but a group of 3, I feel like 3 or more is perfect, because there's always someone that's going to say something based on what someone else just said. Like you could just sneeze and then a conversation about sneezing will happen amongst the other 2 people, or what was I going to say, something about something. It's gone now.
Oh well, no more advice. You're done. No, but again, I can't stress enough that it was even just up until like the last 2 years, it was something that I could not do.
I remembered.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, okay. So another thing that I wanted to say is, along with having like a transition thing or an out, just always have something culturally relevant in your back pocket that's like appropriate enough for everyone to talk about. Whether it be, depending on the situation, whether it be a recent movie that came out, a recent comic that you read, or just something that you did recently, or just something that just ran through your head for no fucking reason. Like the other day, I was in the car with my mom and my sister, and we were on our way to dinner, and they were talking about something, and there was a lull, and I wasn't really paying attention to what they were talking about, but the thought kept going into my mind of a specific thing. So when there was a lull, I just blurted out, "How come you never see old people in like regular clothes?"
Yeah.
And it was such a non sequitur, but it made them laugh, and then we started actually having a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Which also, how come you never see old people in regular
what
clothes?
What are you talking about?
Old people are always either really dressed up or really dressed down. There's no in-between.
I don't know what you're talking about. My grandparents were always in the in-between. They just dress like people.
What do they wear?
They just wore like a polo and some shorts. That's just like normal wear.
It's a polo, though. It's not. I mean, okay, so like
a polo is not dressed down and it's not dressed up. It's just a polo.
Okay, so I need to be more specific. This makes complete sense in my head, but I know it makes no sense in anyone else's head.
No,
you will not see an old person in a graphic tee and jeans. You won't. It's impossible.
Right, but that's
prove me wrong.
But saying that that's not normal, like that
I said regular, not normal.
Okay, but I don't wear a graphic tee.
Right.
You call me old?
No, but also I feel like, and I know the answer is it's a generational gap. That's just not what the current old person's generation wore.
Sure.
But I just mean,
also, but, I mean, it depends on your definition of graphic tee, because there's a line of clothes in South Carolina that's very popular. Yeah, t-shirts. Yeah,
I don't
perfect.
see
There's
old
tons
people in
of
t-shirts.
in South Carolina. There absolutely
Really?
is. It's like the thing that they wear.
it's just every old person I've seen on like TV or
What do
in
they
person.
wear?
They just wear like it's either like a polo for dress down. It's either a polo or if they're inside, it's like just like a white undershirt or something like that.
Okay.
If they're like super dressed down, or if they're dressed up, it's like a full on suit.
Yeah, I mean, polo
Or a dress or something.
Right, but polo doesn't seem dressed down to me. That seems average. That seems normal.
No, see, I think that's just my, again, I know this makes complete sense in my head, but
Sure.
if it's just very strange to me. I can't see an old person and be like, oh yeah, like I wouldn't, if I saw an old person wearing this, what I'm wearing right now, my whole worldview would be shattered.
Yeah. I don't know. They're definitely old.
For reference,
old,
I'm wearing a hoodie and gray pants.
Didn't we not talk about it at the beginning of this episode?
Oh, I couldn't remember if that was
Okay.
the last one or not.
Yeah, you know,
I also
honestly,
didn't mention
I
the
can't
pants.
I think everyone just assumed that we're never wearing pants unless otherwise specified.
Well, I think there was a bit in the first like 30 episodes where we were always naked when we did
fair
this,
enough.
So,
But yeah, in South Carolina, always old people are just wearing t-shirts all the time.
oh, that's weird.
It just
to me.
might be
I don't like
it might be a beach thing. I don't know.
potentially. See, I can't picture that. I can't picture.
I can't picture an
Right.
old person not wearing a
Really?
t-shirt.
That's so weird. Maybe it's an opposite thing then.
I don't know what
it's a regional thing. I bet.
So I get the suit thing. The suit
Yeah.
thing I get because a lot of church or whatever. But
Yeah.
like, what else do they? You said just like a. What do you mean by an undershirt?
It's either dressed up,
Yeah.
an undershirt,
What's
or
an
a polo.
What do you mean by an undershirt?
Just like a white basic like a bedtime pajama like undershirt thing.
like a t-shirt?
Yeah,
That's a t-shirt then.
they're called undershirts though because they're lighter. They're a lighter material. Than
Okay,
normal.
fair enough. But I mean, again, South Carolina, they got t-shirts all over the place.
That's so strange. I'm gonna look up a picture of an old person in like jeans and a t-shirt, and it's gonna blow my fucking mind.
To your point though, I don't think not jeans. Definitely a lot of shorts because again, South Carolina just shorts all the time.
Damn it! The thumbnail's probably gonna be an old person in jeans and a t-shirt now.
Yeah.
God fucking. I ruined the comic book thing.
I don't know.
No, I can't. A picture of Kanye West came up. These are all polos. This guy's not even old. This is just Harrison Ford.
I still don't understand
This is Shia LaBeouf.
I still don't understand the polo
There
thing.
are so many pictures of Shia LaBeouf. What the fuck? Why? He's not old.
Whatever. What were we talking about? Oh, conversations and social things.
How to do a social.
Whatever. Do it. Just do your thing. Just do it. Ended on the advice I didn't want to start on.
No, I would say just always have a question, like have an arsenal of open-ended questions in your back pocket, or just like better advice would just be something culturally relevant at the time.
I would also just say listen.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen and add on to stuff like that. Listen for things that you can add on to.
Yeah.
Like if someone was like, "Oh, I was at lunch the other day and so this and this happened," and if their this and this isn't very interesting, just be like, "Oh, what'd you have?"
Yeah.
And then maybe that could blossom into, "Oh, I love that."
I mean, yeah, especially at events when they were just like, yeah, we was talking to this guy at lunch earlier today and blah, 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 and you don't have anything, but the lunch thing stands out. You'd be like, where'd you go to get lunch? Because I'm new to, I don't know this area very well, and I need a, whatever. Little things like that. Always helpful. Latch on to anything.
This is only supporting my worldview. I looked up old man in jeans and a t-shirt, and it's just like attractive actors, mostly Shia LaBeouf for some reason, in jeans and a t-shirt.
I will say
The only
I've
old
never,
men are in polos.
Okay.
For this Google search.
All right. I will say I've never seen an old person in full length jeans. Jean shorts, yes, not full length jeans. But t-shirts, abso-freaking-lutely.
Not according to this Google search.
In South Carolina, 100%. What else do they go?
Okay, you know what?
That's they go fishing in.
It's tucked in, though.
Yeah. Okay.
It's tucked in, though.
All right. I see it.
If it was untucked, then it would shatter my worldview.
Yeah. I don't get the polo thing. What's it against polos?
Polos just seem like an old person thing to me.
Okay, polos to me
I
just seem
kind of hate. I just kind of hate polo.
I do too. I don't wear them.
No.
They're not for me.
I don't
but
own
I
a
guess
single polo.
I in South I don't, might be again a regional thing, but in South Carolina, almost every dude wears a polo.
I think I wore a lot of polos when I was a kid because I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't start dressing myself. My wardrobe just had polos in it. But then I was like, I fucking. Ugh.
No, I mean I see it from kids, teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. No, every guy in South Carolina has a polo of some kind.
Polos are a goddamn abomination.
I don't care for them.
They're a t-shirt that's trying to be a button-down.
It's a classier t-shirt.
Stop.
I think they do look good on some people, but not
if
for
you
me.
have big, thick muscles, you can rock a polo.
I think also if you're a big old chunky dude, you can rock a polo.
No, I disagree.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just got exposed to a lot of polos in South
Big,
Carolina.
thick polo men.
Yeah. my sister's current man thing. I don't know what their relationship
Man
is.
thing.
I don't know what their relationship is. Her baby daddy. I don't know.
Sure.
Almost his exclusive wardrobe is pretty much polos. And we went into a store looking for polos, and he was like, Do you wear polos? And I was like, no, I don't own a single polo. And he was like really trying to sell me hard on polos. Like that's his
That's
thing.
another thing. I feel like if you wear a polo, you only wear polos.
Yeah.
Your wardrobe's
I
just
see
full
that.
of polos.
I see that 100%.
You can't like you say
You've been indoctrinated
there's
into the polo cult.
That's the Illuminati. We know about that, but there's a fucking polo cult out there that
Yeah.
you're indoctrinated into. And if you wear one polo, you're done.
Yeah, that's it.
It's only polos
My
from here on
my
in.
Stitch Fix box that I just got today sent me a polo. And I
shit.
haven't tried it on.
It's an
but
invitation.
I think it's an invitation.
Stitch Fix is in on it.
Oh boy. Oh.
Fucking polo abomination of 2018.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh boy.
Do you want to do one, or should I keep picking from the?
No, my phone's all the way over there. You can do one.
Okay.
For reference, my phone is a foot away from me.
Yeah. I'm trying to pick some that we haven't, like a person we haven't done before. But it's hard to keep track, honestly.
It's fine.
It
just means they're
air. I should pull one
dedicated
up.
fans.
I gotta learn to pull one up before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, get
I'm
it
sorry.
ready. Unprofessional podcaster.
Mm-hmm.
You shit together. Nice, Wander.
All right. Sorry.
Here we are, just taking your time.
All right. I'll just do one that I think we've done this person before, but it's the only one I can find at the moment.
That's fine.
Because I lost my place on Twitter. Catherine Pena.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's the
Right.
baby bald boy who sent us all the good stuff.
Have we done a question from her before? I don't
think so.
Really? Okay.
No.
Fair enough.
She's just
everywhere.
She's just like our number one fan. So.
Yeah, she's great. She says it's a 2-part question. I'm way more interested in the second part, but we can do whatever.
I think I read this one earlier.
Is it how do you save your money? Better question, how do you waste it?
Yes.
Okay. Now I want to.
You want to tackle the first part?
How do I save my money? I really
Yeah.
don't.
I thought you have like a lot of interesting ways to save money. I thought
What?
with your maybe it was just ideas that you were talking to me about. Like you had like a thing where you set aside like physical cash every month just to buy food with. Do you do that?
I don't do that.
Okay.
I the one thing I do is I don't have a savings account, like an official savings account, because I find it way too easy to transfer money from my savings to my money. So what I do is I purposefully reroute my money to a place where I can't easily make it accessible. Like
jump through hoops for it.
Well, like I send all of my money. I send a big chunk of my paycheck as savings to PayPal. I don't have a PayPal card, so I can't easily spend it. I would always have to transfer it out of PayPal back into my bank, which makes it more of a hassle in case I ever wanted to spend it.
Right.
Sometimes it comes in handy. When I went to Atlanta, it came in handy. It does take a day or two to process to go back to my bank account, which makes it a little bit harder to actually spend. So that's that's like the main way that I save money, is I just make it harder to actually spend that money.
You could also do that by just having your savings account be a physical thing. It's obviously more risky, but
sure,
if you because cash is definitely, in this day and age, cash is harder to spend.
Cash is harder to spend. especially if you're like me and you just love browsing Amazon in your free time. You can't spend cash on Amazon.
It's just a number, Scott.
But like,
it's just a number that diminishes over time and then replenishes at the end of the month.
But that's a good point, though, is because my bank is an online bank, which means I can't deposit any cash that I take out.
Nope.
So if I do take out cash...
but as we did learn, which I told you, they do have checks.
They have checks, which
Scott
are
was
nice.
adamant that they didn't have checks, and I was like, that makes no sense. They have checks, and they did have checks.
They had checks.
And that was my small victory.
There you go. But yeah, so when I take out cash, I can't put it back in. So I can put it somewhere in my house in an envelope somewhere, to the Dave Ramsey method of just like keeping your savings in an envelope.
Good job, Dave.
Yeah. Or like, splitting it up into separate envelopes depending on what you're saving up for, that sort of thing. Which I might do, but I really don't save my money that often, that well, to be honest.
It's probably not smart.
Yeah.
What I do...
to be fair, it's because I don't have that much money to spend. Almost all of my money goes back into paying my rent and eating for the next month.
That's how it's been for me the past few months. But I do have a savings account. I have a normal checking and savings set up. And what I do normally is I take a percentage of my paycheck, and it's normally the same amount every month because my paycheck is normally the same amount every month. But if it's higher or lower, I will accommodate for that. Normally, if it's lower, I will put like a base amount into my savings and then just deal with that. But lately, I have had to take some out at the end of the month because I overspend or something comes up. But yeah, I think that would be, if you have a traditional checking savings account, or even if you just have a savings account somewhere that you have a tough time getting to, just put a specific percentage, no matter how little, into your savings every month, just to slowly accrue that over time. And also, some savings accounts have interest, so it's good to always have something in there.
Which is good, but again, it made it too easy for me to transfer and spend it.
And that's what I've kind of I don't touch my savings account as often as I could out of fear, because I always try to at least keep 1 month's rent in there, which I've stuck to for a while. But it's almost always just 1 month's rent. It's never like a substantial amount above 1 month's rent. Yeah,
that's my thing. Is that's what they call living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep,
and I've been doing that ever since I've been alive.
Me too.
Sometimes I'll finish months with negative money in my bank account.
That was me, like, for most of the beginning of last year, and most of the time when I worked with you.
Yeah, it was the same with me. When it's still the same with me currently. So yeah,
it's hard out here.
It's hard out here on this YouTube game.
But there was a time, like, in the middle of the summer last month, where I was doing a lot of work and I was getting like big, thick and meaty paychecks, and I was like, hell yeah. I still had a substantial amount at the end of the month. I felt good.
Yeah.
I don't have that anymore.
No. That was like my very first big brand deal. It paid It paid almost $10,000.
Hell yeah.
And I have no idea where that money went. I don't know what I could have
happened with my college fund.
I can't imagine what I spent $10,000 on. What the heck did I do?
When I turned 18, I got my college fund because I didn't go to college. It was turned over to me, and it was all invested in like some stupid stock. That it was all in stocks, and I sold it to get like certain things. I bought like a laptop and a new computer, and then I fucking blinked and it was all gone. I was like, what the hell? What happened?
Yeah, I don't understand what happened. And I want to be clear for those of you who don't know, that $10,000 thing was an absolute fluke. It happened one time, and then the company came back and gave me a fraction of that for the next videos that they've
Scott's
done.
not over here rolling in money you can't see.
No. I think, honestly, you know what I think I actually did with that money? Was I think I took a big chunk of my student loan debt out with that.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure most of my college fund stuff went away when towards the end, towards the close to the time where you had to let everyone go.
Yeah.
When you weren't getting paychecks to me as fast. Yeah. And that, remember that weird mix up with PayPal? Where like you paid me, but then it took too long, and
it took like 2 weeks.
That was weird. I think I had to pull from my college fund to pay rent and other stuff for a while, so I was basically paying myself out of the college fund.
Yeah,
and that's where most of that went. But it's going back up now. I invested in Nintendo and Sony instead of whatever weird stock my parents had it invested in.
There you
and now
go.
it's going up.
There you go.
That's another thing. Invest in stuff if you can. Just find what's worked for me. I don't know shit about the stock market.
Yeah.
Just invest in shit that you like that does well. Case in point, I invested in Nintendo and Sony, and it's doing pretty well.
I guess so. I will never understand the stock market, so I don't. Well, I mean, it's just something that I don't even want to care about or touch.
No, I would never have gotten into it if not for my parents having my college fund be like a stock thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, okay, I'll learn the bare basics of this, how to sell and buy and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I occasionally I always forget that I have that, so I'll occasionally log in on my phone and be like, oh, I made $200 this month by doing nothing. Cool.
There you go.
But I never really touch it unless it's emergencies, which that's kind of the really hard. That's like my super savings, which it's kind of my nest egg, even though it's not enough to be a nest egg. Because I have to log in and I have to sell it, and it has to be like good enough to sell at the time.
Right.
Someone has to buy it, so it's very difficult to get the money out of the stocks. But
makes sense.
Yeah. So, how do we waste our money?
So the way that I'm interpreting this question is not like how do we it's not a thing that like we spend too much money on or whatever.
Sure. I'm
saying like the money wasted. The thing that we spent it on
is not worth it.
Not worth it. So like
that over there, all of that.
Well,
I'm motioning to the show with issue set.
Because I was going to say, like, obviously, you had talked about previous episode that you spend a lot of money on food, eating out.
Yep.
But that I wouldn't say wasted because you're fed.
Sure.
But
there's a bit... You could argue.
You could argue that it's not the best use of the money, but I wouldn't say it's not a waste
okay.
because you actually got something out of it
right.
that kept you alive. But I'm talking like, is there a thing that you've spent a lot of money on, or multiple things you spent a lot of money on that were just not worth it, completely wasted money?
RGB lighting as a concept.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is quite a theme in your office.
you just in anything. People putting RGB lighting into shit is just not, that doesn't, it helps nothing but aesthetics.
Yeah.
And you could argue anything that you spend your money on brings you some form of happiness or sustenance.
Sure.
By like, my office looking cool makes me happy.
Sure.
But bare bones, I don't need that.
I hear you.
I don't need that. Was something that I was dealing with like yesterday when I was like, when I had just, I'm currently in the process of redesigning the show with issue set. And when I go through like my mood swings and I get into a bad mood, I'm like, I don't need any of this. I spent $300 on this set. I'm getting no return on investment there.
Yeah.
But also it makes me happy.
Yeah. Like I've been spending a lot more money on clothes and clothing, but I wouldn't consider that a waste because I love that stuff.
You love that stuff, and also that it presents you as either, I don't want to say more competent, but I'm talking about on video, not just in general, but like it shows that, especially with kind of the more dressed up look that you tend to go for, and the style of content that you go for, it's definitely more, it matches more. Yeah. Whereas I feel like if you started talking about like the history or some kind of philosophy and you were in jeans and a t-shirt,
like I use old videos of me were like that for sure.
Someone might be like, what does this guy know? Yeah. What does this schmuck know?
Yeah, I mean, video stuff, it's certainly obviously a visual kind of a medium.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of things I've wasted money on, there are countless Amazon purchases.
Yes, I was going to say just Amazon as a whole.
that just either didn't work or for my purposes, or didn't work in general. That I am these headphones.
There's a third pair of headphones on the table that I bought purely because they were more comfortable than the ones that we're currently using. And I was just too lazy to return them.
Yep, I am that way with almost all of my... It has to reach a certain threshold for me to care about returning it. Like, for example, I bought a pair of boots on Amazon that was a half a size too big. Yeah. And because they were a good amount of money, because my philosophy, like, you know, getting into clothing and whatever, boots and shoes are one of those things that are supposed to last a lifetime. Yeah. So I figured it was worth the investment. Yeah. I didn't invest too much. I know there are people, I just met people at a conference who spend thousands of dollars on shoes
Idiots.
I mean, there are people that spend hundreds of dollars on shoes, and I'm still not there yet in my
God,
budget.
No. I shop at fucking Goodwill.
Right.
If I spend more than $20 on a piece of clothing, I feel bad.
Oh no, I do that every month.
Oh yeah, I know.
I spend hundreds of dollars.
I'm very cheap about my clothes. I will collectively spend like hundreds of dollars on many pieces of clothing, but not like one specific thing.
Yeah, but so the shoes, the boots that I ended up buying costed something. I think it was like $150 or something like that.
Yeah.
With the philosophy that they would last a lifetime if I, because obviously you have to buy a certain pair of shoes in order to have them resold. Right, as in resold the bottom of the not sold like sales.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't have shoes where the sole is glued on because you can't replace those.
Okay.
You have to have ones that are stitched in.
Interesting.
Because then you can replace those, and the actual boot that goes over your foot will last you the rest of your life, and you can just constantly get it resold. So that's the philosophy that I went into. Is I wanted to buy shoes that could be resold so that it could last a lifetime. So that's why I bought a $150 pair of shoes.
Whew.
And it's hopefully the last pair of boots that I buy. I'll probably buy more because, again, these are $150. Normally, you want to look at $300 or more if you want to get lifelong boots. But anyway, these will last me many, many years. And I also don't buy shoes that often anyway.
Yeah.
The point is...
Last time I bought shoes was $5 from Goodwill, and they fell apart that night.
There you go.
You were there.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
But yeah, so the point is, I bought these shoes that were half a size too big, and
jinkies.
Yeah, and so that $150 price tag was enough to motivate me to be like, and let's return these because I don't want to waste $150.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, I've certainly wasted hundreds more dollars on individual small things that I just have now that I either threw away immediately or just they've been collecting dust because I just don't use them and they don't work or whatever.
That's another thing is Amazon, sometimes they will make it so difficult to return your package.
Yeah.
Where you'll go on there and they're like, okay, was it damaged or do you just not want it? And if you say, I just don't want it anymore, I bought it by mistake or something. Basically, if you admit liability or accountability for this return in any way, they will charge you to return it.
Right.
So, and sometimes it's weird. Sometimes they'll have the option for a UPS driver to come pick it up. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they require a printer. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't require a printer, but if you need something printed for you, then they charge it. Right. It's very confusing.
It's so dumb.
But I have successfully returned things before. But you know what? I'm not going to admit that. Never mind.
Okay. Don't
at me.
Okay. What was I going to say? Yeah, when they come, because I don't drive, so I have to rely on them to be able to come pick it up.
Right.
And the time I did that with my boots, I had everything all packed up and ready to go, and they were like 5 days late, or I think even like over a week late to come pick. So I just thought they just weren't coming or whatever. And then finally, out of the blue, they were just like, you got a package? Like, just way late.
It's like,
I was like, yeah, sure, here's the thing. But yeah, it was quite a hassle to have to return.
You know, the one time I ever did a pickup thing where they came to pick it up, I didn't have any tape, like any packing tape or anything. Yeah. So the UPS guy came and I was like, yeah, here it is. It's all packed up and fine. I don't have any tape. Do you have any tape? I was like, yeah, I guess I have tape. You have tape in the truck, but...
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Yeah, I guess I have tape.
Yeah, he was very caught off guard by that. I was like,
I could order some from Amazon.
I've lived here for 2 years almost. I don't still have packing tape just around.
Yeah, I do.
Sorry. Well, do you still use it?
Yeah, to return packages.
Oh, okay.
It's also just, I don't know, it's one of those things that's just
I have
nice
plenty
to
of
have
duct tape. Yeah. I have packed packages with duct tape before, but I don't know why I didn't want to do it with that specific one one time. But I have plenty of duct tape.
Very nice.
Actually, it's probably because the duct tape roll that I had at the time was very fucked. It was like, I didn't tear it off right, so it was like tiered and weird.
Oh. Tiered and weird.
Tiered and weird. Look at Tiered and Weird. I'm your host, haha, Dylan.
Oh, do I do it?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
You don't have to contribute to this bit. This very dumb bit.
But yeah.
So something else I wanted to say about wasting money before we wrap up here.
Sure.
There's a website, I think it's called whyimpoor.com.
Yeah.
If you want to just actually waste your money, go there. Because that's just the one thing that's featured all the time on there, which I don't understand at all, is a toilet nightlight that goes in your toilet.
In your toilet, yeah.
That's so stupid to me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's because I never turn my lights off in my bathroom.
That'll do it.
But, like, are you really that sensitive to light where you need a nightlight in your toilet so you can't turn the lights in your bathroom on?
Yes.
All right, fair enough.
Well, because with me, so
Wait, do you have one?
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
But I understand that mindset because, like, for me, light is the thing that wakes me up, and so I purposely try to have as little light as possible when I'm throughout the whole house when I'm going to sleep, and then in the morning I try to have all of the lights on in order to wake me up.
Yeah.
So I get that idea of if you need to go to the bathroom but you don't want to be fully awake, but I mean, just get a nightlight, whatever.
Put it in your toilet.
Yeah.
It's like people who put LED strips under their bed so that, and they're like motion activated too.
Oh yeah.
So you have like a runway when you get out of bed. I'm like,
Okay.
Fuck off. Like if you're doing it, I'm cool. I'm cool with you saying, oh, it just looks cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
Don't explain it to me like, oh, it's so I don't trip. What are you talking about? Do you think something just showed up in the middle of the night while you were sleeping? You have bigger problems to worry about if that's the case.
Yeah.
Don't put shit around your bed that you will trip on.
Very true. Yeah, I don't know. I've been investing in a lot of like smart home sort of stuff.
I wanted to do that, but the stuff I wanted to do to start was too expensive and too convoluted.
Yeah.
So I would do it. It's just my kitchen lights are not light bulbs. They're weird, very big things that I can't replace.
Yeah. Well, I have a similar problem with my main living room light where it has the smaller bulbs, and I can't really I mean, I haven't looked really hard. I'm sure they exist, but I
do.
Yeah, okay. Smart bulbs, yeah. But I do have smart bulbs in my bedroom and my office, which is convenient except for one freaking bulb that no matter what I try to reset it 1,000 times. It's the dumbest. We've gotten to a point where you have to troubleshoot a light bulb, and that's what I hate about society currently.
To troubleshoot a light bulb.
So there's just so I just removed it from my it was in my office. I removed it from my office. I put it in my main living room as just like, and now it's basically just a dumb light bulb that I can't activate and do anything. It just turns on, and there it is. But my bedroom ones work, and that's great because it helps me wake up in the morning when it automatically turns all the lights on to get me out of bed.
Nice.
Which is really nice.
Nice. Well, cool.
Is that it? Is that how we waste and save money? And how to be social or whatever? Was that this episode? I can't remember.
Yeah, we also talked about Superboy.
That's right.
Which is probably the thumbnail because that search returned nothing.
Yeah.
Except Shia LaBeouf.
There you go.
In V-necks, which, might I say,
prime LaBeouf.
Prime LaBeouf right there. LaBeouf with beard and V-neck. I'm on board for that.
I love it.
That's a good buff.
Should we plug things?
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter at the OnPod. Thank you for coming in late there.
Sorry.
You can ask us questions, ask for advice, or whatever you want to do.
We can do funny things or serious things.
Yeah.
I like the more serious ones. I think Dylan prefers the more silly ones.
I prefer either. It really depends on my mood, but
yeah, let's get a range.
A good range is balanced. And
you can ask multiple. You can ask a silly one and a serious one.
Yeah. I don't want this podcast to be a goddamn bummer to listen to. Which is why I would like to bring there's enough sad shit in the world.
Yeah.
You know what
Let's
I mean?
add to it.
And also, I don't think we're qualified enough to genuinely give good advice on things.
I don't know. I mean, I would say it's...
Take everything we say with a grain of salt.
Right. Well, I would say just take everything we say from the fact that it's just us saying it to people. But I would say I don't want to discredit our life experiences and throw them out the window as not valid.
Who wants to listen to two millennial white boys? Ugh. Not me. I hate all white people. Men should die.
You heard it here first, folks.
Anyway, if you're a man and you want to follow me on Twitter,
if you're a white boy,
yeah, I'm on Twitter at Orem Alexander, or I make videos at this very YouTube channel that you're probably listening to this to, or on other things. We haven't figured that out yet.
Nope.
Yeah, that's me. Your turn.
My name is Scott. I have a YouTube channel called Nerd Sync. Go subscribe over there if you want educational, informative YouTube videos about superheroes and comic books every week. To varying degrees of success. And I also have a Twitter, 2 Twitters. You can follow me. In the at Nerd Sync one is just going to be just updates about videos and other things. But my personal one is where you can hear me screaming about how miserable I am most of the time, or I don't know, quote tweeting something political. Who cares?
Day Scott on Nerd Sync and nighttime Adult Scott on Scott Nicewander.
That's right. If you wanna get notifications for every tweet I send out, that'll be a nightmare. So
maybe don't do that.
Don't do that. DK does.
Oh,
DK
good.
gets a notification for every tweet I send out, and I don't know why.
I used to have that on Nerd Sync.
Yeah,
but I stopped because I got annoyed.
Yeah, no, I don't have notifications for anybody turned on because like I don't wish for people to have notifications turned on for anything because I'll usually go on
one time where that's not a call to action.
Yeah, I will usually go on a spree where I'll say a million things and then
that's why I muted
Twitter.
James Gunn because he's been abusing the feature of like the native Twitter website allows you to do now, which is like add tweets.
Yeah,
and he's just for the past few days has been just tweeting just in rapid succession like 20 thread tweets about just politics and shit, and I'm like, stop. Like, I get it, and I agree with most of the things you're saying, but good lord, you're saying so much shit on Twitter. Yeah. Calm down. So I muted him. Sorry, James Gunn. I know you're listening.
So anyway, follow Scott Nicewander for some great gun control debates.
Yeah.
That'll do it for this podcast. We're done, I think.
We could be.
Or are we?
No.
How close can we get to the microphone? Oh, God.
For any of our viewers who have access to internet, we invite your comments.